Needs a little pumpkin spice. But good morning either way. Today is going to be core day, but we also have acting class in the morning. So I'm actually drinking my coffee to get ready for that. I'm debating if I want to do in studio acting class or if I want to just do it online, because I want to go in person, but there's a high chance of rain today, and I do not feel like dealing with driving in the rain for over an hour. So that's not normally an issue. It's just I know what the roads here are like, and having to deal with that would really suck. But I'm used to driving in the rain. It's just more so what the roads are like. Like I said, they're not well maintained going up there, and I just don't want to deal with car issues right now if I can prevent it. And it's not so much my car can't handle, it's more so the other drivers, if you catch my drift. So I'm going to be thinking about it a little bit. Either way, I do want to go out a little bit today. Still, like I said, I don't care about driving in the rain. It's more so driving an hour away for acting class, having to deal with the weather, bad roads, as well as the poor drivers out there. Some of them are actually really good, but a few of them, you get the odds and ends out there. But besides that, I do want to go out a little bit. Probably go to the bookstore, just check them out. And also, it's ab day. I'm just going to go to the fitness center for that one because I really don't need that much heavy equipment. Or I might go to the gym. I'll think about it. We'll decide when the time comes. But for now, probably just going to head to the fitness center. And I still got to get myself completely cleaned up for class. I already shaved. My baby's face is shining through. So, let me finish my coffee. And let's get ready for class. And I might do a small little video showing what I look like when I'm actually dressed up for class. Anyways, I'll see you guys in a bit. Peace. And here is Future Dolby, or Future Dolby about 20 minutes in the future. Now, still debating on whether or not I want to go to in person or just do online, as I'm assuming it's going to be the same lesson either way. Now, I do want to go to the cinema today. There's a movie called The Light of the World, which is about Jesus Christ, so I really want to see that. But we're getting close to Halloween season, so I might see Weapons, because everyone's been raving about that movie, or even Nobody 2, because I think that looks like a good end of summer movie. But Weapons has been out a little bit longer, so it might be leaving the theater soon. I remember there was a little bit ago, there was a movie called Strange Harvest, and I was actually going to go see that in the cinema that day. This was a few weeks ago, mind you. And my schedule got a little backed up, so I wound up missing it. I was like, okay, I'll see it next week. And then next thing you know, it was gone. So I'm trying to get to movies that I have an interest in, so that way I don't miss out on them. The FOMO thing. But Weapons is actually making good box office returns. I don't know how Nobody's doing. Nobody, like I said, looks really fun. I'm a huge fan of the first one. So I'm excited about seeing that. But like I said, it's getting close to scary movie season, or Halloween time. And what other movie? Oh, I saw The Toxic Avenger last week with my best friend. Great movie. I loved the Toxic Avenger remake. I did a short review for that one. I think that was the only time I've ever done a review that was short. If you need to see a good action horror comedy, The Toxic Avenger is the GOAT right now. But anyway, still debating on whether or not I want to go to an in-person class or just do it online like I normally do on Saturdays. That's still up in the air, but we shall wait and see. And also depending on how this week is also going to play out as a whole. But that's for the future, not for now. But anyways, I will catch you guys in a little bit when I'm getting ready for the gym. Peace again. One more thing though, I actually had a failed video that I made yesterday. I'm not going to intersplice it with this one. I'm just going to post it. It was a leg day video. I wasn't in the best mood. It was a long week. So I'm going to just post that entire thing. It's only going to be about 10 minutes long. And I talk more so in my end of day conversation about you got to still put the work in even when you don't want to. So pretty basic stuff. Anyways, I will see you guys again a little bit later. Peace
again.
Well, class is wrapped up, and I was actually going to go see Nobody 2 in the theater, but it's already not playing in theaters near me anymore. That was in theaters for like less than 3 weeks, and it's already gone. There's movies that are still in theaters now that have been playing since July, but Nobody 2 is out already? That's bogus. So I did all the classes online because I was nervous about the whole, rain thing, and not a single drop at all. Maybe it's not going to be until later tonight. At least it's starting to smell more like autumn outside, if you know what I mean. I got more creatine today. And of course, the scoop was on the very bottom of the container, so I got a bunch of creatine all over my fingers.
Some good fucking food.
Because I had to really dig in deep to get it. But Onnit's an overall good brand. This is Onnit, right? Yeah. And it was at a good price, so I'm not complaining too much. Got my pre-workout made right now. Like I said, just fitness center today for the gym. And then we're going to probably just go out for a little bit, see what's going down. This is just going to be my outfit of the day outside of the gym, obviously. But I'm going to change into my gym clothes, then change back into this because I think it's a pretty solid fit, if you ask me. And going to be doing something good for supper. Probably going to make some, I obviously can't do American chicken bunker.
Quality chicken flavored food stuff.
For this many days in a week, as much as I love it. So I am going to be making food at home.
Raw balls eating.
And probably some ground chicken.
Some good fucking food.
Gonna get some healthy bread, maybe make a sandwich. That sounds. But anyway, let me make my pre-workout, let me chug this, and let's get to the gym. So you see, I've been thinking about the 100 men versus one gorilla debate, and honestly, it's an easy victory for the men, and it's not even close. Because here's the thing everyone needs to realize. The 100 men would actually just simply come together as one and eventually befriend said gorilla as another one of the brothers, another one of the men. So it would turn into 101 men. Not only would it become 101 men, but those first 100 men would explain to the new man the importance of having a relationship with Jesus Christ. So not only would this be an easy victory for the men as there were no casualties, it'd be the truest form of victory as a whole, as true peace was brought about, and we now have a new brother in Christ, and that is the most important victory of all. So now, not only do we have this gorilla as a fellow brother in Christ, he can go to other gorillas and then explain to them the importance of following Jesus and his teachings throughout history. As this is not just a battle of strength, but a battle of spirit. For once we realize that the gorilla is not our enemy, but our ally in terms of coming to Christ, we truly will claim the win here, not just for the men, but for the gorilla as well. And isn't that the best victory of all time, is to not just destroy your adversary, but to bring them alongside with you? Not even the case of the enemy of my enemy is my ally, but my enemy is now my ally. Because truly, I don't believe that the gorilla is against us at all. It is just a confused being that once us 100 men come together and show peace to this being, and understanding that with Christ, all things are possible, that gorilla will no longer feel fear and need to defend itself against its fellow man, as it will be 101 men, not just simply 100 anymore. Because truly, I believe that this 100 men versus one gorilla debate is a test brought to us by God Himself. Because He is asking us, would we want to just simply fight this gorilla, or would we desire peace with him and bring him as another soldier of God? Because everyone talks about outsmarting or overpowering the gorilla, when really we just need to bring him to Christ. Again, this is not just 100 men versus one gorilla. This is 100 men making it 101 men, because we know that that gorilla is our brother, and he can be a brother in Christ with us as well. And that's what Jesus ultimately would want. That would make us true warriors for Christ. We meet someone that could be potentially hostile and scared, but then we show them peace and love. We befriend them and teach them the importance of Jesus. Then they too find peace and no longer need to feel fear in their lives. They become our friend, our ally. We love them as we love ourselves. That is truly the true fight of 100 men versus one gorilla. We shouldn't just be only seeking the violent outcome. We should be seeking the spiritual one. The one that makes us not 100 men versus one gorilla, but 101 men with Christ. And so now I am officially back home from the fitness center.
Is the pump.
Already changed out of my gym clothes.
Put your shirt back on.
And into my standard wear. Didn't do any cardio today because just didn't want to. But outside of that, got my pure protein, the galactic brownie batter flavor.
Some good fucking food.
Which is a banger flavor. I wish they weren't discontinuing it.
High quality.
But like I said, I got it for a very affordable price. So the devil gets his due every now and again. Anyway, I'm gonna drink this. It's only 4:34 right now, so I'm gonna probably play a little bit of this game I'm playing called Scarlet Nexus. Then go to the store, grab some groceries, at least grab some bread, because I bought ground chicken the other day, so I'm gonna make that. Make those ground chicken sandwiches. Probably get some anchovies also, put them on top of the chicken, get a little bit of the no-fat cheese, put that on top as well. And it's gonna be really tasty. I really like anchovies, by the way. Depends on who you ask, that's either the most undisturbing or most disturbing food choice that I have. Like I said, depends on who you ask. Anyways, I'm gonna go play a little bit of that. I'm gonna go shopping and then cook some supper. I'll catch you guys a little bit later. Peace. It's no American chicken bunker, but still good. And with a little mozzarella fat-free on top, we have our supper. So one thing that's pretty cool is that Red Letter Media just released a brand new episode, and it's rare when I catch them when they're literally just posted.
What's that? Special delivery.
That's pretty awesome. It's a good day. And it's time for our nighttime conversation, ladies and gentlemen. And tonight, we're going to be talking about something really fun. We're going to be talking about the Phantom of the Opera, the original one, or the first technical remake, which is the 1925 version, because there was apparently one in the 1910s, but that one is lost. So we're going to be talking about the 1925 version, which we're going to now call the original version, because that is the oldest surviving version of Phantom of the Opera. And it's the 100-year anniversary of that movie, and that is awesome. Nosferatu recently had its 100-year anniversary a couple years ago, which my roommates and I at the time watched, and that movie still holds up. That is such a cool movie. I still have to watch the newer remake of Nosferatu, and I still think it's funny that my roommate and I now, him and I can get together and take our phones and remake Nosferatu, and it'd be just as official as the one in theaters, because Nosferatu is public domain, similar to any other adaptation of Dracula that we can do. But we're not here to talk about Dracula or Nosferatu. We're here to talk about Phantom of the Opera, which is just as important as Nosferatu was, or other movies like Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. I was going to show off this box set I had because I thought it had Phantom of the Opera in it because it had a bunch of public domain horror films on it. But for whatever reason, I remember it having it on there, but it doesn't. So I ain't showing that off. And I can't find another copy that I had of it, so it's probably accidentally in storage somewhere. But we're still going to talk about it. Because Phantom of the Opera, here's the thing. That movie still holds up in its own way. A lot of, in my opinion, silent horror movies do. Because horror is supposed to be scary. It's supposed to be unnerving. It's supposed to leave you feeling kind of in the end. And the way they had to shoot movies back then, that was kind of a necessity. You know, you have movies like Haxan, again, Nosferatu, The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, The Leaves of Satan's Book, if anyone remembers that movie. But that's more of a drama, though, with some creepy, but it's overall still pretty creepy. But the visuals and the aesthetic of the whole thing, just watching it's like they're basically like watching nightmares unfold in real time. That's how silent horror films always at least felt to me. Now, silent films aren't for everybody, obviously, because people don't like reading, and you do have to read through a lot of silent horror films. Some of them have had modern remasters where they add dialogue to it, but obviously it's not the actual actor saying it, it's kind of just like a glorified dub. And even Phantom of the Opera had that. Haxan also had their own version of that called Witchcraft Through the Ages. But when you just take these movies for the visual art pieces they are some of the most creepy and unnerving movies you've ever seen. And part of the thing that makes Phantom of the Opera so spectacular is that performance by Lon Chaney. Because here's the thing. I've always kind of seen the Phantom of the Opera as more of a tragic drama with a horror story happening in the background. I mean, the Phantom is a tragic character. He just is. And the remakes and readaptations of the book kind of delve more into that, especially the Hammer remake. I never saw the 2000s adaptation, which is more of an adaptation of the Broadway musical, which I would love to see. I've heard the music from that, and that is spectacular music. But that just shows how impactful this one movie is. And of course, they're all based on the book. But if it wasn't for that movie, these other adaptations probably wouldn't exist. That Broadway musical with its spectacular score would not exist. And a lot of that does come down to Lon Chaney. I almost said Lon Chaney Jr., but he was the Wolfman. Lon Chaney doing his own makeup and having his own form of acting, because he was a stage performer. And given that he had deaf parents, or at least parents who were hard of hearing, he had a lot of his talking was through body language. And seeing him express that in the film is so gripping. Not just that, because like there's another movie called London After Midnight. This is a lost horror film, and that's one that's like the holy grail of lost horror films, because everyone wants to see Lon Chaney do his thing. He's the man of 1,000 faces, after all. And that he is one of the things that this movie has to give credit to. Did his own makeup and his body language, his impactful performance. He's almost like being an opera performer, coincidentally enough. The way he kind of oversells each movement as if he's talking to an audience, not just to a camera. He embraces that. And that fits so well with the Phantom. And outside of just Lon Chaney's performance, the visuals of everything it's astounding. Like, obviously, I just be Claire Obscure, and I'm looking at it all, and I say, because this movie takes place in France. I don't know if it was actually made in France. I don't know the full history of the development of this movie, but like I said, it takes place in France, like, obviously years ago. And to see, like, this kind of warped, nightmarish reality that they made, that had to have some inspiration for Claire Obscure. I mean, obviously, a lot of that for inspiration for Claire Obscure does come down to French history and French art overall, but just like that one random face in the background that looks so terrifying. Things just kind of looking off just slightly, even the opera house in and of itself. Now, obviously, I've never seen a classic opera house in person as they were back in the early 1900s, late 1800s, because I wasn't around yet, as far as you know. But the visual setting of everything, even up to his base, we'll call it, just looks, everything about it just looks like an art piece. And again, that's what silent films have, is every, like, sort of like that one YouTube channel is called Every Frame of Painting. Every frame of that movie can be an art piece. Every single one. Like, you can take stills and just fill walls with it, and you'd make a glorious art museum. Truly. Because this film is obviously a work of art. Its impact on the horror industry, like, that can't be ignored at all. Like I said, the importance of this movie is up there with movies like Nosferatu and Cabinet of Dr. Caligari. The impact this movie had. And it's still, I think, kind of underrated, because all we have are those, like, adaptations that followed it. But it's rare when people officially bring it off. But the inspiration is always hidden in the background of everything. I mean, there's Phantom of Paradise. There's that one Phantom of the Opera movie in the 80s starring Robert Englund. I heard that was actually a pretty good slasher, at least from people who like 80s slasher films. I haven't seen it yet, but I still need to read the book too. I haven't read it yet. So I don't know how much of the book is kind of like how I like to say it's a horror tragedy. Because we have this being that kind of just is in an unfortunate situation, and he's causing terror to everybody. And this is like an early example of the sympathetic villain, as far as I'm concerned. There's obviously Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, which Dr. Jekyll was running a science experiment, and Mr. Hyde was created from that. So that's also an early example of the sympathetic type villain. But Phantom of the Opera is what basically is what set the groundwork for something like that. And we just can't escape the fact that, again, Lon freaking Chaney, my friends, he is still one of the best actors, period. He knew his assignment. He knew the assignment. And just that one frame, or not frame, but that one moment in the film alone, I remember, because I saw this when I was really young, like, when I say really young, I mean, like, I think I was like 9. It was the scene where, the face reveal, and you see his face, that genuinely horrified me so much. And I'm not making this up. Every night when I would brush my teeth, I was horrified that that face was going to pop up outside of the window of the bathroom. And when I say that stuck with me, that was like probably months until it didn't affect me anymore. But that's what I mean. I was a kid, and you'd think a kid wouldn't like a silent horror film, but that just stuck with me, really. And I think that's kind of where I started to learn where my love of horror was coming from. And there was even like this one Disney Channel movie, Phantom of the Megaplex, I watched when I was a kid too. That's actually what led me into watching Phantom of the Opera, because obviously that movie's a big reference to, the other. And it's these baby steps, oddly enough, that kind of brought me closer and closer and closer to realizing that I am a fan of horror. If it wasn't for the Phantom of the Opera and seeing it at such a young age, would I be a horror fan now? Probably still, but the way I am, like just absolutely loving horror, I don't know. I'd probably be more into science fiction. I mean, I still love science fiction. Starship Troopers is my favorite book of all time. Starship Troopers is one of my favorite things, period. Godzilla is another one of my favorite things, but if it wasn't for Phantom of the Opera, would I love Poultrygeist as much as I do? Would I have an interest in that? Is Phantom of the Opera the Poultrygeist of silent horror films? Maybe, but that's kind of the thing with the silent horror films. So many of them are such high quality
Chicken flavored foodstuffs.
filmmaking that it's hard to say which one is the definitive silent horror film. I mean, of course, a lot of it will come down to which one is your favorite. Because if you ask me what my favorite silent horror film is, it's probably Hexen. But with Phantom of the Opera, that one movie started such a grand legacy. Where with Dracula, that's more the book that started that legacy. And obviously, the Bela Lugosi adaptation helped establish what Dracula would become. But Dracula already had kind of a pre-established popularity. With Phantom of the Opera, that first movie, or second movie, helped lay the foundation of years of blatant inspiration and inspiration you didn't realize was inspired. Again, this movie helped create one of the best Broadway musicals of all time. I haven't seen it yet. I don't even know if it's still playing, but my one friend saw it in Broadway and he said it was outstanding. He loved it, and I felt envious of him because that music, I've heard the music before, obviously. There's some music that's used in memes. Sing for me, my angel of music. That adaptation seems like it's more, like the musical adaptation seems though more in line with the Hammer adaptation, where it definitely leans more into the tragic backstory of the Phantom. And I really want to see it in 3D, the original one, because I learned recently that they accidentally shot in 3D, and that is really cool. Like, think of all the horror history that just goes into this one movie. A movie that was accidentally shot in 3D. That's wild. And part of this video is inspired by, I watched James Rolfe's video about the Phantom of the Opera, and getting a little bit of the history behind it. I didn't know there were that many versions of the movie. I only ever saw the one when I was a kid. I don't even know which version that technically is. I don't even know it's the version you'd find on Blu-ray if I were to buy that Blu-ray now. But it doesn't change the fact that the Phantom of the Opera is pivotal. It is one of the most important pieces in movie history. Not just horror movie history, but movie history, period. I can't imagine what the movie industry would be like had that movie never got made. Again, a lot of it comes down to the inspiration you don't think about. And a lot of that still relies on the fact that silent films had to be shot in a way that was really captivating to the eye, because outside of music, which was played live, you couldn't hear anything. You had to go by what you saw on screen. It had to be show, don't tell. I mean, obviously there was dialogue boxes on the screens and things like that, but they had to show you it. And that's why Lon Chaney's performance is one of the most important movie performances of all time. You had Max Schreck's slow and somber movement in Nosferatu, but then you had Lon Chaney and his big operatic personality shining through in this movie. It's like this is going to sound crazy, but it's kind of like how Nicolas Cage portrays himself, like being over the top and things like that. I think in a weird way with my acting, it kind of unofficially inspired me, because I like to go big, like be more out there. Like, obviously, this depends on the role, but if I'm given the opportunity, I'm going to be a little bit more over the top. And that's why Lon Chaney is such an important piece of film history, or acting history, or what have you. So this isn't even not just a reflection on the importance of Phantom of the Opera. It's a reflection as an actor on the importance of Lon Chaney. Someone who helped to develop the idea of fusing opera acting with on-screen acting, which was still a developing art form at the time. Probably one of the first big names in acting was Lon Chaney. And as someone who's trying to establish a career in acting, I owe him so much thanks for that. Like, honestly, if you're an actor, you need to study Lon Chaney. You need to watch some Lon Chaney movies, read some books about him, watch documentaries about him. Because if it wasn't for him, what would acting be like today? Would we have bombastic actors who were willing to go all out, or would acting be more slow and somber? Because back in the day, a lot of the actors were stage actors that had to get brought to camera. And Lon Chaney nailed it here. Pardon me. Again, this isn't just a reflection of Phantom of the Opera and the importance of it as a movie and its piece of art. This is a reflection on Lon Chaney as well. This is kind of my reflection on how, like, just thinking about it, realizing that it's not just the movie that was important, it was Lon Chaney that was important too. Because without him showing what actors can do, who knows what the acting game would be like right now. So, Mr. Lon Chaney, the man of 1,000 faces, rest in peace. You are the man. All actors, whether they know it or not, owe you great thanks. And there's not thanks enough we can give you. Anyways, guys, I'm going to call for the night. God bless. Peace out. I'm hoping this video was way better than that other video I posted with Leg Day. But if you haven't seen Phantom of the Opera, definitely check it out. It's a masterpiece of filmmaking. Lon Chaney nails it in the film. And have yourself a good night. Again, God bless and peace out.